Hey guys, this is Rick coming at you with Weed to No Basis, the podcast for all things cannabis business related. Are you an entrepreneur? Have something you wanted to create, something you wanted to bring to life in the cannabis industry? Maybe you've always wanted to partake in one of the biggest industries in modern day history. This is the podcast to listen to.
Hi guys, how's everybody doing today? Is everybody getting enough CBD? Well, I'm here today to talk a little bit about some of the other cannabinoids you might not hear so much about. Everybody's used to hearing a lot about CBD and THC because they're the two dominant terpene or compounds that are found, or cannabinoids that are found in medical marijuana and in hemp. You know, hemp is going to be rich in CBD, but really, you know, there's many others that are what we would call minor cannabinoids now that are going to be found in both varieties of medical marijuana and hemp. Usually only found in trace amounts, but really I think two of the biggest ones you'll be hearing about in the next few years is going to be Cannabis, which is CBG. There's now strains that are coming out that are really high in this cannabinoid, and CBG is very promising, and it's similar effects to CBD as a neuroprotectant. CBG is also very promising with the healing of bone fractures and bone strengthening properties. CBN, they call it, it's a breakdown, oxidation of THC. CBN is really what's really responsible for if you ever have an old strain of cannabis that makes you really tired, lethargic, and sleepy. That's going to be the cannabidiol that's in the product. So that's CBN, and generally right now, it's a minor cannabinoid. CBN is going to be about 10 to 20 times the cost of CBD. So you're not seeing it in too many products right now. That's just because of the cost of it. Same with CBG. CBG is anywhere from probably 5-6 times the cost of CBD easily, where CBD usually runs about anywhere from $3,500 to $6,500 a kilo, whereas kilos of CBG are running anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000. CBN, you're looking at almost $80,000 to $90,000 for a kilogram of pure CBN. So as soon as you see these strains start to be bred and get brought up into better profiles where the cannabinoids are more abundant in these plants, then you'll see the cost come down, and these pharmacists can really get some really nice formulations down to where they'll be able to get 1-to-1 ratios, 2-to-1 ratios, or what have you, which we don't really have access to that now in Texas, especially when it comes to THC. So hopefully those laws change soon. We all get out there and advocate for those laws. You can see CBD, really one of the main ones we're talking about, and we all know the benefits of CBD, and or not, maybe we don't all know, but we're seeing that every day. And it all goes back to your endocannabinoid system and getting your endocannabinoid system functioning properly. But there's these other cannabinoids, phytocannabinoids, in there in the mix as well. If you look, they're THC, you know, all of those are going to contribute to your entourage effect. We want to get those cannabinoids. Now, whether it's in a full spectrum, which is going to have trace amounts, or sometimes you get full spectrums that are going to have higher percentages of those minor cannabinoids. But usually, in a full spectrum, maybe you see 60% CBD, and most of those numbers are going to max out about 5 to 10% combined of those other cannabinoids. So hopefully soon we're getting concentrates that are real high in these minors, and the other cannabinoids that we're used to being so high now are going to be in smaller amounts. So when we go and we talk about CBG, you know, it is a minor cannabinoid, but it's also called the mother cannabinoid because all of these other cannabinoids are, it's a precursor. So all of these other cannabinoids are basically made through oxidation or through an amino acid action where these other cannabinoids are formed. So you get THC and CBD are products of CBG. So even though it ends up as a minor cannabinoid in our extracts, it is the mother cannabinoid. So everything is formed off of that. Even CBN is the breakdown of THC. So if you ever get a bag of cannabis that maybe you forgot in your jacket pocket and you pull it out and it's all brown, I wouldn't know, right? And then you smoke it, and it gets you super lethargic and tired. That's because of the CBN content. And that's one of the products we were talking about that right now it's just kind of out of reach as far as costs go and put it in a product. But it is, going to be in your full spectrum product. So you will find CBN, but it's usually in trace amounts. So I kind of have the breakdown of right now, kind of where the cannabinoids are priced at, and just so you can kind of see that for yourself. Now, hopefully, the trends start moving those numbers down to where they're all kind of in line, and we get it's easier to use these compounds in a much more equal fashion. All of these compounds are very important because we have that human endocannabinoid system, and they all work in synergy. So as far as cannabinoids go, when you're looking at any of these plant cannabinoids, are called phytocannabinoids because they're in the plant form. You have your CB1 and your CB2 receptor already in your DNA and in your body hardwired. They process these phytocannabinoids, and what we're trying to do is stimulate your body to produce its own endocannabinoids. And endocannabinoids are really what does all the work. So CBD, CBG, CBN, THC, CBC, whatever you want to call it, they're all influencing your endocannabinoid system in your body to really do its job. So we're just trying to get this internal system in your body to do its job. Terpenes is the other main component to the entourage effect. Terpenes are your precursors to your essential oils. So anytime you break open a bud of cannabis, you have a lot of vendors around here with hemp cannabis. I would suggest going over there, maybe smelling the terpene profiles, breaking it. All of those essential oils you smell are all called terpenes, and they make up the essential oils of really any plant. So when you're able to break down the cannabis, when you get those smells, the really neat thing about cannabis is that it contains the terpenes from pretty much every plant in the plant kingdom already. So where you get limonene out of lemons, it's also in your high sativas like super lemon haze or lemon skunk. You're going to find limonene in it. If you grab an OG Kush, you're going to find delta 3 carine, and all those terpenes contribute to your entourage effect. Linalool makes up 60% of the smell of lavender. Linalool is a huge terpene that you're going to find in a lot of your relaxing indica strains. They're going to be heavy in linalool. They're going to be heavy in myrcene. You may smoke a sativa and find that it's racy. Maybe that's high in limonene, and it's high in pinene. There's tons of studies on terpenes. A lot of the studies can't be done on cannabis because of the way it's been scheduled and the way our government has had it scheduled. They haven't been able to put the proper funding towards the studies. But if you look at terpenes, a lot of those studies have been done already, and there are medical benefits behind terpenes and all of those terpenes just happen to be found in cannabis. So if you look at CBD, THC, they're really generic, or any of these molecules, they're really kind of generic if they don't have the terpene profile to go along with it to really give it its personality. So that's what makes the magic of your cannabis strains. It's not just the cannabinoid profile, it's a terpene profile. And that's what's going to make your plant sativa. It's what's going to make your plant an indica. Sorry, I've had my hand up here the whole time, and I guess I don't have to have it up here anymore. But it's really what's going to give your plant the personality. So if you really like a strain, a lot of times it's not just that it's 30% THC or it's 20% THC. It's not just that number. It's really the terpene profile. So I've gotten strains at a dispensary that are 12%, and I've had strains that are 30%. And sometimes those 12% strains satiate me and make me feel a lot better. And it's because it has a complete terpene profile, and that profile is going to be influenced by how it was grown, where it was grown, where I guess the selection of the farmer throughout maybe the years or hundreds of years, or wherever. Maybe it's a landrace strain from a certain country or region of the world. So a lot of those have been brought here and they've been used in breeding projects. So we're really spoiled because we have all of these strains that we're able to choose from and that our breeders have. So whenever you guys think about CBD or any of these cannabinoids, I always say to take into consideration the terpene profile, not just the cannabinoid profile. So if you're using an isolate CBD product, in order to get your product into an isolate form or to get that compound into an isolate form, those terpenes are removed. So if you're using an isolate product, we want to have some terpenes in there. Terpenes get these cannabinoids past the blood-brain barrier as well. So it's really going to make your product much more effective, or the product you're taking much more effective. So we want them in there. They're naturally in cannabis. We don't want to take them out. We want to put them back in if they're not there. Most of your full spectrum products will have the terpene profiles in there as well. So, but when you're looking at isolates, you want to have, we want terpenes. So I have a booth over here, Rodkey's. We're right in the corner. Structure CBD. If anybody has any questions, we're open to answer them. Come by and ask them. We can go into more detail. Just wanted to give you guys a quick overview, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me ramble on here. And thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Thank you.